Earth debate live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil, Adam, Sensual Goat, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Played out the pre-show with Trust Me Bro. Could you not hear that in the Hangout, Neil? Nobody here Trust Me Bro in the Hangout?
No, I heard some sort of music playing really quick, but that was it.
Could you hear Trust Me Bro? No, I could just hear some sort of music playing. Okay.
Yeah, you asked me what I heard. I didn't hear Trust Me, but I heard a little bit of music. Might have said it in that. I don't know. What are you asking me for?
Just because I wanted to know if my lines are all functioning correctly. I've just been fiddling with things. I was all dragging mic lines through various different small spaces, and sometimes things break, and you just don't know what might have broken. Not that that would affect my internal switching of audio. It should have just reached you, but maybe it saw it as audio chaos and just reduced it as sound reduction. In any event, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve?
Black Swan.
No.
Where did we get to yesterday? Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, just mathematical reifications.
All right, Jedi. How's things, by the way? It's not normally we're in each other's company under calm circumstances. Hey.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Good to see you. I thought I'd pop over. The politics was a bit quiet, so I thought I'd join you today.
Well, I will pop over tomorrow until I can find a different home from home. I'll continue to, frequent there on a Friday as it's kind of sort of penciled in and become a thing. I'll continue to do that because obviously I've been alluding each Friday, oh, maybe we're not best served here. So I don't want you to get the idea that I'm not going to toddle along there tomorrow, because I will.
It's one of the highlights of our week, mate, so enjoy you turning up.
Oh, you're too kind.
I don't know why he was even talking about leaving. Why would you even say that? We could still go there even if we find another place. There are 5 days in a work week.
Yeah.
You have to test the waters, Neil. If people think something's going to be taken away from them, then they're more likely to throw money at it to keep it going. You see reverse psychology?
I don't know about wanting more money out of it. I actually think we are better served in places that when I arrive on a Friday, I hear everybody in that panel destroying globetards. They're just destroying them. So what I said it when I was there, I'm a bit of a fifth wheel. Doesn't mean we won't go, Neil. It means that in the same way as we toddled along to 24/7 yesterday, right? We'll toddle along to politics when we fancy it, because we're like regulars. So us just popping in won't be objectionable by the server operators, because they're like, oh yeah, well, Nathan's a regular. Okay, it's a Monday afternoon, but so what?
So because you heard them destroying globes, it's like work is done here. Let me wipe my hands and move on. Gee.
Well, in a way, yeah, Neil. There's only so many hours in the day, and isn't that what you want, to spread the good word of Earth being measured flat?
Yeah, but I don't want to leave people. They enjoy us coming there. So, what are you going to take it away from them because they're all singing from the same hymn sheet?
Yes.
How you doing, Jedi?
Precisely that, Neil. Exactly that. Yes.
We have branched out to a couple of other servers as well. We've got a couple of channels open on another politics and religion server. There's another one as well. That name escapes me. It might be incumbent upon me to speak to my higher ups and see if we can get you to toddle along to one of those. I think obviously that it is primarily 24/7 that kind of runs it, so you'll have the same moderators, but you might have a different flow of people coming into the channel. So I'll speak up if you're up for that. I'll see if I can get that ball rolling.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go wherever we're beneficial to flat Earth. And flat Earth has taken on a new meaning since the flaky flat earthers and flat Earth believers have sort of divided themselves very literally themselves without us, forcing the issue. So I absolutely want to branch out a little bit and take a bit more of a leadership position without sounding big-headed and arrogant. It's after 10 years of doing the subject, I do feel that we can actually benefit people. I'm not just saying that to butter my own ego. You know what I mean? I said the same to Neil. Like, you've got to kind of take ownership of this in these circumstances. People will be looking up to you for answers where they may not have them. Yesterday we were talking about the upward rising earthers in that regard, but it could be anybody that's just got it, you know what I mean? So it's taking ownership of that rather than saying, why weren't we in that position before? Why were the people who were in that position doing such a terrible job? Why are the people who formerly in that position decrying us now that they're leaving and taking loads of people with them? It's like, well, that was in the past. Not very long in the past. But, now is now. And if we can better the people's argumentation and let them get on with their lives rather than engaging with blurf versus flurf debates for the next 10 years of their lives, then we will definitely be best served telling people that. But you don't have to remain around in what eventually turned into quite culty groups of people talking about conspiracies. If you know Earth's measured flat, you can just know that and get on with your day.
Good morning, guys.
Chocolate? But we've never had it phrased in that way until now, right? Where it's been literally described by their lips and the lips of people onlooking as cult-like. So us talking about things like the Feast of Nonsense and the way that their egregious behaviour has exhibited it in a way egregious enough for us to highlight it prior to TFE is now right on the surface to anybody who can, shake a stick. It's really easy to see that, but like I say, we've got to eventually move on and say, well, what do you want out of this community if you want to call it that? Well, you want people to have good arguments, okay? But that in itself says that you want people to hang around. Well, I don't. I want people to have a choice if they want to hang around. We've got hours and hours and hours and hours of material of globetards getting smashed. But in the moment, your new guy that comes along and goes to random politics server, in this instance, isn't necessarily going to know any of these arguments. So it's nice to be in a position to actually pass them on and with confidence. I don't know if that's ever been the case prior to now, is it? And if it was, we weren't in a position to be listened to because there was seemingly other leaders who are now decrying the subject or affirming the biases of globe believers in some instances. Well, we're not that. Let's take ownership of it.
Yeah, we've taken on 24/7. We kind of work hand in hand with you guys. We take the good arguments and we take them out to the massives. So we try to demonstrate how we have knowledge that the Earth is measured flat, how it's practically used. If they want the conversation of where the ball comes from, we can give them that. Second law of thermodynamics. We've got all of these things in our arsenal. But we also have to be aware that we have to deal with the feast of nonsense from time to time. So, yeah, we like to play with our food as well, if I can use that expression. But well, it's lots of fun.
It's not so much playing with your food. You were right the first time. It's dealing with the feast of nonsense. Now, when you say playing with your food, I know what you mean. You're saying that some of the politics server participants and 24/7 participants will introduce Feast of Nonsense so they can rebut it, or tally along with somebody who's brought it up casually so that they can show how well they can refute their claims. Now, I get it. That's what you mean by playing with your food. But no, that's just flexing, right? If you know the arguments, then when they do come up and you have to deal with them reactively, knowing that you can because you've seen somebody postulate them speculatively on behalf of an opponent they know they're going to destroy. Fair enough. Each to their own. If you want to do that, I don't personally. I don't want to
I
go
witnessed.
Go on.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
Go on,
I
Neil.
witnessed Jedi on politics. I rolled in there one day, and I witnessed him with gas pressure without containment break that down for somebody, and the person actually turned on the spot. I couldn't believe it. It's the first time that I've ever witnessed that. Somebody hearing an argument, and he was resisting, and then he just stopped and said, "You know what? Thank you. You're right. NASA's been lying to me." I don't know if you remember that, Jedi.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Maybe within the last week or so. Yeah, the ones,
Yep.
those type of people stick out in my memory. The guys that you have good conversation with, and they turn around to you and say, "Do you know what? You've actually got a point, and I can't refute that." Yeah, those ones stick in my head. So yeah, I appreciate that, Neil. That doesn't often happen. I've got to be honest with you guys. You will get the arguments, you will get the posturing, you will get all sorts of deflections and other subjects and this, that, and the other. But yeah, I appreciate it, Neil. Sometimes I think that's one of the reasons why I personally stick around in the conversation, to find that one conversation I have where somebody turns around and goes, "Do you know what? I've learned something today. Thank you very much for your time."
Because Jedi 1 of 20 is listening, other 19 does not listen. That's the problem.
Nah, this guy was listening the way Jedi was breaking it down. He couldn't. He had to face the truth that it is impossible to have gas pressure without containment.
I know I'm listening to him every day, but I'm telling you, there are the persons who will listen, and there are the persons who want to only speak, you know.
There will be that one person, and the audience aren't necessarily going to be the guy in the Discord chat actually interacting with you there and then. So, obviously, I'm acutely aware that the audience takes on board this stuff. But it is so nice. I was going to say, I didn't want to interrupt, but you've got to remember that sort of stuff because it so infrequently happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really happens. But you are right. It is not necessarily the person that we're talking to. It's the wider audience that are hearing the conversation, that we're hoping that they hear what is happening before their eyes. So, yeah, we all have to be mindful of these things, especially on a public platform that we're live streaming to the world, and people walk in and out of the conversation all the time because it's an open forum. So it's just not the person that we're speaking to.
That was
Yeah, I agree.
exactly what I was thinking about when I was happening. I'm like, the audience is hearing this, and I wonder how it's affecting them.
Yeah, badly probably if they're a globe believer. But again, you can't really concern yourself. You drive yourself nuts if you were spending all day worrying about that fact. But you were there once.
Yeah.
We were all there once, right, Neil?
Yeah, but I mean, if the Globers were listening and they're hearing a guy coming with all these different types of, resisting everything Jedi was saying, and then just like throwing in his cards and saying, "You know what? You're right." Boy, that must have affected them. I would have loved to have been there to see that.
Well, there's a certain
And
surface level cope that the Globers will have taken away from TFE. And I say that in the most literal terms, taken away from TFE. So they come along, yeah, I knew it was all nonsense. Look how wrong they were. A bit like when Behind the Curve came out on Netflix. But in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, those same exact people go, hang on a minute. Why are they still here? Are they literally in the cult that I was told as I was leaving that they were in? Is it really bad now? And they go and have a little look. And providing the Feast of Nonsense doesn't creep in and we aren't usurped by more zealots akin to the likes of Whitsitt and Jaron and Dave Weiss, then you can only hope that when they dip their toe back in however long, they go, oh my God, this isn't what I was exposed to last time. What do you mean Earth's measured flat to make a globe for me to believe in it? Surely not. I want to lean into that going through 2025, right? When I occasionally go back through some of the older debates, it happened more often than I thought would be the case. The amount of times that I find myself in a defensive position for why my opponent is justifying measuring Earth flat because it's so big. And because it's so big, gets the focus, with them asserting, with begging a question fallacy, that there's a globe that's got to be considered while I measure, as a globe believer, Earth flat. So we should lean into that. They're taught a lot of the examples, Al-Biruni, Aristophanes, all of these are flat Earth examples that are widely understood. So for me, leaning into Earth's measured flat and you'll need a flat Earth for your globe doesn't take long. I mean, it's been 6 months before I was leaning into just tell people Earth's measured flat to I'll be telling you how your measurement's going to be needing a flat Earth for it. Last time I was in politics, like my confidence in this particular point has grown massively over the 12 months we've been promoting it in the politics server, and I'm hoping that's the case beyond the surface level regurgitation of it by the flaky flat earthers who like the sound of it when they needed something. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm drowning. What can I grab hold of? Measured flat. You say, oh, brilliant, brilliant. It doesn't matter. Earth's measured flat.
Because literally that's what they're telling you. They tell you Earth too biggy to measure curvy. Too biggy to measure curvy. So how did you measure it? Flat then? Okay. Thanks. Argument done.
Yeah.
It's literally as simple as that.
Sorry, Chocolate. I had a conversation with somebody about 2 hours ago who literally said exactly the same thing.
He's now hot micing all over you, Jedi. That's Chocolate for you, though, eh?
No, that's fine. I don't mind Chocolate talking through me.
Yeah, Jedi.
Good to hear you, man.
Yeah, it's good to hear you too, buddy. But yeah, the conversation I was having earlier was literally word for word what you just said. The Earth is too big to measure curvature. Awesome stuff. So we measure it flat. Conversation done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the derivative of curve comes from those measurements of a flat Earth also. So if you're going to assert, oh yeah, we do definitely measure curve, no, you won't. You'll be measuring Earth flat and then asserting a calculation that infers sphericity violating the initial measurement. They don't know that. They will. Well, they will if I come here. Yeah,
well, if memory serves me right, the last 2 times you've jumped into politics, the first time I was explaining to somebody how the Earth was measured flat, and the second time with Alpha Veritas, he was explaining how the Earth was measured flat. And you heard the fallout where yourself, Nathan, you had to jump in and kind of take control of the conversation and point out that, these people were just denying the measurements that we were giving them.
Yeah, he went to a forum to get his citation. I can't remember who the guy was, but yeah, whoever it was. These people are very forgettable, generally speaking. But they need to deny the measurement, or they'll infer that they've got a measurement that proves Earth's a sphere radius. And then when you point out that, no, you're measuring Earth flat at this stage, the first thing you do, in fact, they'll go, it's not the ground, it's not the Earth, we're not measuring.
They're literally conceding to the measurements that they're denying the measurements they just conceded to. Because it's like they don't get, by you saying it's too big to measure the curve, you're saying you didn't measure the curve. Like, it should be that simple, right? You didn't measure the curve, therefore you measured it flat, is what you meant to say when you said it's too big to measure the curve.
Yeah, right? And I hope the audience is going through those same mental steps. I'm asserting it doggedly to the opponent. Yeah, you tell me how you measured a sphere, and I'll show you how Earth was measured flat with that assertion. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, but yesterday the guy ran away on you.
Look how the progression went. It went from it's too big to measure the curve to locally flat until actual globers actually saying we measure it flat. And then blah, 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 curve later, right?
Yeah.
It's like they get it, but they don't really get it because their belief in their little magical spinning water ball is very strong. So what are you going to do?
It's a lethal tool.
You just don't understand.
No, they do understand. They understand all too well. That's why we can peg them to the wall with their assertions of how they measure it. Earth, that is. Flat, that is.
No, we made that up. That's what the guy said to me yesterday. You made up the Haversine formula.
The Haversine conversion from flat to globe. Like that process for projecting the points measured with respect to a plane through a spherical surface to the the celestial sphere. No, we didn't make up that conversion. That's what you need to create all these distorted globe projections, right? You need to project the points that were measured flat onto a global surface, right? So you can measure angles through and from the equatorial plane and make it seem like those landmasses exist on what is a glorified protractor view from a flat plane. But at least then you've got plottable points on a curved surface. You're like, that's what you did. That's what you needed to make the maps seem like they had globes somewhere involved.
Yeah, not the people who actually made it up to convince you live on a ball. No. We made it up. Like, are you serious? Stop.
Yeah, it's QE. It's QE scientific method. We made up the Haversine formula. Earth is not measured flat because you're not measuring the ground. The ever elusive curve.
But when they say
Well, that's
you're
not
not
wrong.
measuring the ground, it's normally because we've taken their example, pointed out where they first step they ever take is measuring a flat Earth. They then say you're not measuring the ground. It's like, this is your example. So if you and your example fail because you now say your example isn't measuring the ground, it's not the ground, it's not flat, well, then your example that you previously claimed was measuring a sphere Earth now turns out to be a flat Earth measurement, or we'll reject it altogether. So they've got either nothing or an acceptance of a flat Earth. Nothing because they won't accept their own bloody measurement when we point out how flat they're measuring Earth, because suddenly it isn't the Earth. How dare we use their own example to show how Earth's measured flat?
That sounds like, how dare you make me bleed my own blood? That's how stupid it is.
We did it with Witsit, remember? Well, you kind of putting me in a position where I can only make my argument with a contradiction now. How outrageous of you. No, you're just in a contradiction, and we've pointed it out to you. That doesn't make it our fault that you now have to remain in contradiction when you talk to your audience with your lies. That's just you in contradiction with yourself. Don't shoot the messenger, globe believers. It's all right. You can still believe in your globe after we point out how Earth must be measured flat for it. You know, you're all entitled to your beliefs. I couldn't care less. Keep your belief. But just know it's measured flat for it. You know, you don't have to like it. You obviously don't. Because when you've told us how Earth is measured spherically, we show you how it isn't. It's actually measured flat. Why would you know? Who'd have thunk it? 101 people watching. Please share the show if you've not done so already. Smash that share button. Stick it on your favourite social media platform, be that MyBoat, BSpace, Facebeeble, whatever it is you use. We're in politics tomorrow, yeah. Hence we're talking about it today. And I'm sure we will. We'll find a different server to make our way to.
Are you going to go back to Earth Awakenings or the Land of Misfit Toys? I heard you say that the other week.
Maybe. It's in my list. I mean, it's one that I can actually click if it gets to 2 months from now and I'm like, yeah, we will definitely toddle along to a different server. Nobody said a
But
word.
they don't want us there. They made it clear that they don't want us there. But I think that's the best place to go. When you don't want us there, we show up.
Not really. I don't know. I would hope that we're communicating with people who are receptive to what we've got to say or fundamentally opposed, as opposed to lukewarm flat earthers who want to, engage in nonsense that we decry and therefore they don't like us. We're kind of done with that. If their little fringe stays little because they want to decry the best arguments there are, then that's up to them.
Well, I think they got insulted because QE named them the Land of the Misfit Toys. They blamed you for it. I think the last time we were there, SC Montreal was very upset about that.
Okay. Why does QE call them the Land of Misfit Toys?
Did you ever see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Probably not, because I don't get the reference.
Okay. Well, there was, instead of it being a Jack in a Box, the elves made the wrong toy. So it was a Charlie in a box. So all these misfits wound up on a Land of Misfit Toys. They weren't made the way they were supposed to be made.
I see. Well, that is quite insulting, isn't it?
Well, if you
Heartbreaking.
act the part, you're gonna get the name.
Act the part? Well, have they got like springs where they should have cogs?
Yeah, Nathan, you've been there. You've seen how they argue. They argue with us about celestial navigation and about flat baselines not being the Earth. You know, it's not the Earth. We could do it this way. Does it have to be? I heard a baller tell me that he could do it on a globe.
Okay. So it sounds like they
What globe?
don't know the arguments or don't fully understand the arguments. A point being, wouldn't that be the perfect place to be going, Neil?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Well, I didn't say we
Well,
would.
we ask politely for their permission to be there. We don't just turn up and siege it like an illegal immigrant.
We
Yeah.
already have permission.
Well,
We
we
don't
don't
need
have,
to.
oh no, we don't have like ongoing permission. We haven't been there for ages, so I would have to square it with somebody beforehand. I mean, by me, I mean I'd ask someone else to do that on my behalf.
Just kick the freaking door in and enter.
You want to do that now, do you, Neil?
Kick the door and enter and say, we're here. Anyway, what's your thoughts on the TFE? That's a good way to get in. They'll be talking about that. Trust me.
Okay. I don't even know if there's anybody there. I mean, there's somebody in there live streaming right now, or they're in a room that's called live stream. I don't want to step on someone's toes if I do just toddle along. Should we chance it?
Yeah, give it a chance. If somebody's doing something and we can't, we'll just say, all right, well, can we come back another time?
Okay, guys in FED, we'll be right back.
Assuming that it's not a globe and it's a flat Earth, then would that prove that like there's only one sun? It's a very odd line of questioning. The answer is no.
You could do it the other way around as well, right? Like, in order for that to make sense on a flat plane, we have to tear down a bunch of assumptions, and basically, we now know a lot less than we did before, right? We now don't know what the sky is, we don't know what the sun is, we don't know where they were, right? This
never did.
necessitates us now doubting a lot. Okay.
Well, we can all agree that both models.
He wasn't done making his point. Go ahead, manufacturer.
That was close enough.
I was just going to say we can all agree that both models, in inverted commas, have never been proven. So I don't know why we're talking about models anyway. They're not the reality, right? It's
Right.
not. It's like, come on, guys.
That's not what flat
Well,
Earth
we can
is.
represent
What they've done. They've strawmanned flat Earth into a model. And flat earthers have been saying from the beginning, we don't have a model. So you globers have set up a false dichotomy, and you've tricked the low-level flat earthers or the people on the fence into thinking you have some sort of proof.
Sounds like they're doing pretty well to me.
I mean,
Scam.
I wouldn't say
arguable.
that manufacturer's doing that. Maybe he said that, but I haven't heard him say that.
Not Manu personally. I think he knows what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I do, but I would push back against that. I mean, you claim not to have a model, but a model is just a representation of something.
What I'll do is I'll wait till there's a gap, and then I'll ask them if in future we're like welcome to toddle along and participate. But I'll wait for a gap to do that. Just hopefully you guys can keep shum just till that happens.
Geometry or the ground, yeah, great. Flat Earth is empirically the truth. You know, this is something that we can speak about with knowledge that we're not experiencing the curving, rotating surface. But then, you know, you guys claim there's a vacuum in the sky. Well, we can demonstrate to you logically that that's impossible. But you've already made that assumption and taken the next steps. And now you're claiming that, you know, this 24-hour sun proves we live on a globe of 25,000 miles circumference when that's already been debunked.
No, I don't say that.
So we're in a mess here.
No, I don't say that.
You guys think it means one thing, but it doesn't. The argument has already been established, and the sky does not, is not direct evidence of the curving, spinning ball.
Okay, so for my audience's benefit, we're currently in Earth Awakening's Discord server. If one of my YouTube mods can put a link to Earth Awakening's Discord, so hopefully people from the audience can actually toddle along to this server, Like I say, I'm still waiting for a gap to actually introduce ourselves and say, are we welcome here? But we'll find out how that goes shortly. Please click the link. Hopefully one of my mods will dig out the Earth Awakenings Discord server link to put in the live stream chat.
Quite easily be a circle around us, and if you invoke a dome with a parabolic curve reflection in the south, then you would expect, with the way we see perspective, and you have your protracted dome of vision, then you would expect to see a small sun. Everybody has a reflective 24-hour sun based on their observer's position in the south.
No, we don't. That's just made up.
No, it's not though, because if you look into the Egyptian cosmology, and if you look into other ancient cosmologies, like what was the other one I was looking at the other day? I can't remember, but there are other cosmologies. Even in the Greek, they hint at the idea of the south being very different to the north, and connecting the south with ideas of deception. They may as well, before the word reflection, they're using other words around this. So I'm saying we can look into the past and see similar models.
Not one with the sun being a reflection or anything like that. The reason the south is different.
Can I ask, how do the globers like? I'm not trying to back the flat Earth model, whatever that is, right? Yeah, you know the
FE model. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is, right? You know. But I'm just saying, with the sun's analemma, and I'm not trying to reify what we see in the sky to prove what we see in the on the Earth, right? But how do the globers explain why the arc is bigger in the south than it is in the north? With the
I honestly don't.
The tilt of the Earth.
If it's pretty much a ball, would it not be pretty much equal size, like the analemma, north and south?
The analemma is to do with the analemma is to do with the orbit over a year.
With the 23 degrees or whatever.
3 hours ago, I did want to ask a question.
Right?
3 hours ago, I was trying to ask a question. How comes there's no differentiation in the sky? Because in the north, there's you can verify that there's a change in the sky. You know, it's not bright. Whereas
guys,
there's no.
Can I have a minute? You guys don't mind? I just noticed Nathan is here. So I'd like to welcome him, and I've been meaning to ask him a question directly.
Okay.
So if you guys don't mind.
I think you've already answered mine, though. I was going to say, am I welcome to be here?
Yes, you are.
Hey, what's up, Nathan?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
welcome to be here then.
Thanks,
Thank you
fella.
for having me.
Hey, Essie, can I answer the analemma thing before you go there?
Yeah, go ahead, finish up, and then I'd like to ask Nathan a question.
There's awakenings that you shit on all the time, but yeah, still, it's fine. Like,
that's my
the analemma is larger in the southern hemisphere once you're in the northern hemisphere. If you watch it from the southern hemisphere, the northern part is like the upper part gets larger. It's a bit symmetrical, but it's not 100% symmetrical. And the explanation for that would be the eccentricity of the orbit. Because the Earth spends more time further from the sun. That's when the part in which the tilt is on the northern hemisphere. So the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun in the half of the orbit that the Earth spends more time in. So it's not really symmetrical because of the eccentricity.
So we're good? You guys are good? You're done?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So, yeah, welcome, Nathan. And I'd like to ask you a question because, of course, all this 24-hour sun. And you were one of the people that, of course, an influential flat earther that said that there's no way that the 24-hour sun could be. And now I would like to know your opinion from your mouth. What do you think? Are you satisfied that there is? And if there is, how does your opinion vary, if any?
Well, first of all, just a slight correction. What I did was echo the sentiments of a first-hand witness. That's Robert Shortman. So at the point that I was told there wasn't one, I echoed that sentiment. But once that had been done, that's it. I've got no other interest in it and have no longer utilised it since that point 8 years ago to make any claims or lay down any evidentiary standards at all. But if it was useful, it would be a housekeeping question, but it isn't. Now, your second question, do I accept it? I can accept it at face value, but I can equally just as easily reject it at face value, depending on what's being presented to me, because in either event, it's inconsequential to me. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it kind of does. Okay,
Sure does.
so yeah, fair enough. Yeah, sure.
And I think that's the
One of
sentiment
them
of a lot of
been
us guys here. You know, like it doesn't bear any weight when it comes to is the ground flat. And I think that's basically where we're at, right? We're sitting here arguing about another sky observation. Are we just falling into the glober's, paradigm here?
Well, somebody said earlier that it might suggest that Antarctica is not the rim of the world. Nathan, would you agree with that? Does it change your position on what Antarctica is?
I'll say it again, I didn't make a position beyond what I was told from a first-hand testimony from a witness, which is to say, I have never asserted that it was be a ring all the way around us, and I get very stroppy when people do make that assertion, because I ask them to evidence it, give me your standard of evidence for this claim, and if they just show me a picture of a chunk of ice, I'm like, well, that's not 74,000 miles, is it? So I don't make that claim. If you're going to make a positive claim, you need to back it. People make that claim all the time and never back it.
Fair enough.
Are you talking about that plumber, Nathan?
Yeah, Robert Shortman. He was down in Antarctica for 18 months. So when we grilled him on what he observed, he certainly didn't give testimony to a 24-hour sun. Quite the contrary.
Did he write in a book, Nathan, with someone he went with? Because I remember seeing a bit of a clip from Will Duffy, something about he'd gone with someone else. I forget the exact context, but they both wrote the book together, and they both said that they did observe a 24-hour sun. But then in your interview, all of a sudden, he escaped him. He's like, he's not sure now, all of a sudden.
Well, that could be seen as suspicious, but you'd have to ask him. I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Well, I mean, is it fair to say that this guy lied to you then?
I don't know. I don't assume that he's lied to me. If you assume retroactive continuity, that is to say, what he observed is always the case, therefore he must be lying. But I don't know that that's the case either. As far as I'm concerned, I will take his testimony as read. I don't automatically assume he's a lying shitbag. Same goes with Duffy. That's what I said earlier. If you want me to take as read their standard of evidence that they present in videography form, I'm willing to do that for the sake of discussion. What does it prove would be my first question.
Yeah. Do we have any globers that can put the argument in a logical syllogism? We might get somewhere if they can.
Like you, Roots. Well, while they're figuring that out, shout out to Iron26 for smashing the super chat. It appears I've missed 20,000 episodes. Not at all. Thank you for the super chat.
Oh, you're live, Nathan?
If I'm here, I'm always live. That's the only reason I'd be here. That's what I do.
Okay, good stuff. Welcome.
That's kind of why I was asking. I thought that was implied, and I should have made it more explicit. Yeah, I'm here as always because that's what I do, making a show. So if I wasn't live, I'd be recording at the very least. That's kind of why I'm saying, or waiting politely for permission to be here. In effect, that's what I'm asking. Not, am I welcome? Am I welcome to be here, or do I have permission to be here, knowing what I do?
Of course.
Sure. So yeah, let me jump in. Yeah, welcome, Nathan. So I think if you want to, run kind of a on-the-fly event, for some time, as you have in the past, I think what we could do is within just a minute or two, I could just automatically move everyone into the stage channel. I'll make a quick event up at the top, and then we can send an, at everyone to everyone on the server to let everyone know it's starting, and then we can do it in the stage. That way, it'll be a lot more controlled, because when there's going to be probably 60, 70 people that will end up in here, especially if I tag everybody. So it's going to be, we don't want open mics and hot mics and any of that stuff. It's going to be too chaotic. It's just literally on a pins and needles until somebody might be, they pop in. And when the room's, when it's only 20, 30 people, we can maintain it, but it's going to get to 70, 80 people or more just in the VC here. So yeah, I think if you want to do that, we can do it on the fly. It sounds good. We can host it, and I would just do an automatic move. It would move everyone to the stage channel, take just probably 2-3 minutes to set it up, and we can start if that's what you'd like to do.
I mean, at the moment, I'm easy. I'm just more here gauging the water to see, are you all happy for me to be here? Because before I came, my own panel was saying, oh, they don't like us over there. QE calls them names. He's labelled you the land of misfit toys, and apparently that's caused offence. And I'm like, well, they're just people. I'm sure they're fine. But then Neil was like, well, just go in and see. So that's why we are here, to go in and see that you're not like, oh, we all hate you and despise you. Why would you be here? Go away immediately. Which isn't the attitude, far from it, which is what I suspected. But thank you for your hospitality. I will toggle along shortly. My intention wasn't to stay, is my point. My intention was just to see if you guys are all cool, and you definitely seem to be.
Who was that, Gio?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you in a minute, bro. How you been?
Yo, what's up, Eli? Yeah, good, bro. How are you?
Nah. It's chocolate, brother.
Oh, it's chocolate.
It's all right.
Chocolate, dude. It is pretty muffled. It's pretty muffled. It's a little hard to hear you. Chocolate, what is up, bro? It's been some time, bro. Good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear you, man.
There's no offense taken, right? They're both black and they do sound similar. I mean, what's the big deal?
Well, it's also the mic setup. It's more distant, and it was hardly. I was just able to make out. So yeah, but all good.
Yeah,
Nathan. I mean, it's up.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
We can tell them by how frequently they interrupt. Eli's a bit worse than Chocolate. Notice how I put you together as a they.
Jeremy.
I've got them stereotyped together as a they now. No one picked up the humour. Anyway.
Well, yeah. So I mean, ultimately, yeah, like we can just hang out in the open VC. There might, as long as no one interrupts, we can just kind of have a casual, but if you have people coming through your mic, that's just when it gets, because sometimes people will hot mic, sometimes people will just jump in, that kind of thing. So if you want to, we can move it to the stage channel and do that. If not, we can just hang as is and keep rolling.
I'm actually gonna thank you for letting me know what I needed to know in no uncertain terms, which I'm very grateful for, Gio. Extremely grateful. But yeah, that means that in future I can just pop in, and I'm not just going to be suddenly everyone's going to have their backup because I'm there. Whereas this initial visit is just to find that out, and I'm very grateful that you've made it explicitly clear. You've also given me a heads up, and word to the wise, I'm hearing you off on FM. My panel can be quite disruptive. So your little nod's been heard, and I'll bear that in mind and keep a leash on them. Yeah, that kind of thing, Neil. Anyway, well, thank you for having me in the short term. I'll let you guys get back to your discussion and let your fundies get back to begging the question of an antipodal global positioning system for them to detail this antipodal Antarctic observation of the sun. So thank you for having us. See you later. Oh, there you go, Neil. Unexpectedly, they were very, very, very hospitable to us.
Unexpectedly, they were doing pretty good too.
Yeah, I closed my line in Discord so I could say exactly that to the audience. Sound like they're doing pretty well to me. Yeah, they had most of their arguments pretty much in a line as far as I could hear.
I heard somebody say when they were welcoming you, somebody said, yeah, you shit on our channel all the time. Why not? It's fine. But that's not right, because it's not us personally. It's QE's one that gave him that name, and we seem to get blamed for it. But we all are on one team.
Is
So
my stream,
I'll
is
take
my
the
stream
blame.
stopped? Hold on a second, Neil. Is my stream still working? Current viewers, it's excellent connection. Why is it showing me the thumbnail? That's slightly concerning. No, it is
Well, you're still on YouTube. I could
still
see
live.
it. I got it on.
Okay, no, it just things are going weird, and I'm getting the connection errors that QE was moaning about last night. Isn't that fate, eh? I get his all working nicely, and mine suddenly starts dropping frames. Oh yeah, it's dropping a ton of frames. Okay, well, it looks like this is going to be a round out to the show shortly because I'm having PC issues seemingly, unexpectedly. I wonder why that's happening. Oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to round out. Looks like my computer is definitely having a bad time of it. So with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.